Hey guys, welcome to another Fireside Chat. Today we're really excited. We have Michelle Sourie Robinson here from MMSDC. She's the president and CEO. So today, basically we're going to have that Fireside Chat. I'm Adam Jansen. I'm the director of Plug and Play Detroit. I'm also joined today with Simon Marr, who is going to be going over a little bit of housekeeping, and he'll actually be moderating the Q&A portion of the discussion today. And then a little bit later on, we'll also have Mark Boucher come on and introduce a couple of startups. So kind of just jumping right in terms of what we're going to be going through, we have a very packed hour for you guys. Basically, the first 5 minutes here is just a very brief opening remarks and housekeeping by Simon. The next 25 minutes will be this fireside chat between our founder and CEO, Saeed Amidi, and Michelle Sourie Robinson from MMSDC, as I said a moment ago. Following that, we will have the moderated Q&A, and then we'll have some startup presentations and a brief wrap up. So for those of you who may not be as familiar with Plug and Play, or even for those of you who are familiar, just a little bit of a refresher, we're really well known for bringing together corporations and startups. But if you actually look around this circle here, you see all these different stakeholders that are all brought together by our innovation platform. And MMSDC is a great example of a nonprofit who's actually become involved with our platform quite actively in Plug and Play Detroit recently. And we're really excited to have them. So we're well known, as I said, for bringing together the largest corporates in the world. And we have 400 different corporate partners now who are all in our platform. And you see some of the best known brand names in the world right here. So Panasonic, Deloitte, US Bank, Procter & Gamble, et cetera. You can see them on the screen here. But also, we're very actively involved with venture capital and investing, and we run an accelerator program. And so over time, we've had quite a few different success stories. So some of them that we're best known for are Dropbox, Lending Club, PayPal. On the right there, you see Honey, which we made a small investment of $50,000 about 6 years ago. And we recently exited that when they were sold to PayPal for $4 billion. And so we turned 50,000 into 40 million. So that's kind of something that gets us very excited, working with all these different startups. In terms of our mobility vertical, basically we started that as part of the Internet of Things back in 2014. In 2016, we found that we had been seeing a lot of success with mobility, and so we spun it out. Now we do about 25 different investments per year in mobility alone, and we've accelerated nearly 400 different startups, which you'll see on the next slide here. So we just finished up our 8th startup batch. We have about 60 different corporate partners through Silicon Valley alone. And you see kind of on the bottom left here, the focus areas of autonomous connectivity, sharing economy, and electrification, which, I think there's been some changes lately, but we're really seeing the connectivity and the electrification in particular pick up. And so it's really interesting times, but there's also a lot of opportunity. Our mobility network, we've seen a lot of success with Silicon Valley, and so we decided to begin expanding that around the world. Some of you may have heard of Stuttgart, for example. We have startup Autobahn there, together with Daimler, together with BMW now, I believe, but also Porsche and a number of others. And so we've had great success in Silicon Valley, Stuttgart, Paris, Beijing, Singapore. But if you look at this map, you see that there's one important location missing, for the automotive industry, and that's really the true heart of the automotive industry, and that's Detroit. And so we've been working to enter Detroit for a number of years now. And, it's been a challenge. It's a very interesting market, but, it's such a huge opportunity. And if you look at places like Ann Arbor, you see, all the startup technology and, all the innovation and all these OEMs also coming together and forming partnerships and really kind of, trying to push the envelope to keep up with the really fast pace that mobility is continuing to move at. And so, we believe that Detroit is turning into the next major technology hub in the United States. And so with that, there's, we are really excited to say that MMSDC together with FCA and a couple of other partners, have been able to help us enter the Detroit market finally. And so in January of this year, we put out a number of press releases basically celebrating that. And so on the next slide here, you see a couple of those headlines. But yeah, if you have any other questions or anything, I only have a very brief introduction and not a lot of time to talk about it now, but I'd love to continue the conversation. But for now, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague, Simon, who can go through some basic housekeeping and introduce our guests.